Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing about the JNK Jammu and Kashmir Startup Policy of the year 2024 up to 2027. So it came on 23rd of Feb 2024. So before we start reading this policy, we need to understand what is basically a startup. So the startup as per the policy is an entity which fulfills all of the following criteria, mind it, all. It has to be incorporated within the period of last 10 years. The turnover should not exceed 100 crores. The entity is not formed by splitting up or reconstruction, that is, it has to be a new business. And it is not incorporated as a subsidiary of an existing Indian or a foreign company. That is, it can't be a subsidiary. And it is working towards innovation, development, or improvement of product, process, service, or if it is scalable business with a high potential of employment generation. So, first point is innovation, second is development, third is improvement, and fourth is a high potential of employment generation. Fifth is wealth creation. And the last point is it has to be incorporated in Jammu and Kashmir. So if all these 5 points are there in your startup, then you are eligible for this policy. Next is, since the startup definition starts with an entity, so we need to understand what is an entity. So the entity is a private limited company, limited liability partnership, or a partnership firm under the JNK Partnership Act. So we conclude that proprietorship is not included in this. HUF is not included. Any trust or anything is not included. So it has to be a private limited or LLP or a partnership firm. So the third important definition is regarding the innovative project. So innovative project is basically an idea which is new and can cause a disruption in the existing ecosystem, which is capable of addressing present challenges before the society at large in an efficient manner. So anything that can create a new disruption and can solve present challenges, that is an innovative project. So now let's start with the policy. So the policy envisages to nurture and inspire the young and entrepreneurial brains of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. Then the nodal agency of this policy would be the Jammu and Kashmir Entrepreneurship Development Institute, JKEDI. This is going to be the nodal agency. So what are the main objectives? That they will provide a leading startup ecosystem by 2027. They will empower incubation center, tinkering labs, and innovation cells. They will engage with entrepreneurs, mentors, investments, and catalysts. Then they'll enrich the entrepreneurs through means of institutions and enable them to access various educational programs. They'll establish new incubation centers. They'll help in supporting startups in attracting investments. And the goal is to set up at least 2,000 new startups in the next 5 years. The next is to encourage startups, incubators that are aligned to focus sector industries identified by the Government of India, and to provide them additional support to female entrepreneurs and persons with disability and belonging to the third gender. So the next comes, how much funding would be there by the J&K government? So the government of J&K will set up a venture capital fund of 250 crores, in which the government of Jammu and Kashmir use a maximum of 25 crores, an initial fund, and the rest the government will take helps of angel investors, entrepreneurs, and other funding entities so that they reach a total of 250 crores. Then the second, they will provide a loan guarantee scheme. This scheme would be under the credit guarantee scheme for startups and again would be recognized by JKEDI and DPIIT. Then the third would be seed funding. JKEDI will provide a 20 lakh rupees of seed funding in 4 equal installments. As you know, the seed funding is used for developing prototypes or introduction of innovative product or service in the market. Now the seed funding would be provided based on the evaluation criteria laid down in the policy operational guidelines, and it would be monitored by JKEDI. Then patent related assistance. The government of India is currently providing patent related assistance to Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of MSME, Startup India, DPIIT. So now from through J&K Startup Policy, JKEDI will assist and facilitate the startups which are recognized in getting their patents. Then the next important thing is assistance for mentorship. Generally, we see that there's a lack of guidance or mentorship to the startups. So they have kept a special fund of 10 lakhs for providing specific complex and technical mentorship recognized by JKEID. So in this mentorship, they'll get the mentorship from international mentors, top rated mentors, and mentorship of fresh local talent. Next comes the regulatory framework. So definitely some frameworks, regulatory frameworks needs to be kept for the startups. So the first would be DPIIT registration. You need to get your DPIIT registration. Then self-certification of compliances. There will be self-certification for startups under different labor laws and environment laws. Then the next would be setting up of HLEC for startups, high level empowered committee. In this, the Chief Secretary of Jammu and Kashmir would be the chairman, and the rest there are various members of departments. Next would be setting up of a task force. Startup task force would be established. Again, it would have various members. The Administrative Secretary of Industry and Commerce Department would be the chairman. Next comes developing talent. So the talent is crucial for success and growth of a startup. So JKEDI will support the nurturing development of talent in the following way. They will support the incubation centers in enriching their content through technical tie-ups. They will encourage the incubator centers to train the first-time entrepreneurs by providing supportive curriculum. They are working on startups which are working on bridging the soft skill gaps would be provided office space in zone A and B for a period of 1 year at subsidized rate. And the owners which are working in the areas of BPOs and KPOs would be provided office space for a period of 1 year at subsidized rate. And startups oblique section 8 firms working on sustainable development goals. Financial inclusions. So the financial inclusion term means that credit is available to all the insurance products are available at the remotest of the villages of India. So startups working on that would also be provided a free office space for a maximum period of 1 year. And the startups working in the focus sectors shall be given a 50% for co-working office space. And the startups which are working in the areas of aerospace and defense would be provided with additional need-based support as approved by HLEC, the committee we talked above. Next comes how they will encourage the entrepreneurs. So they have kept awards, this which includes top 3 startup of the year, women startup of the year, emerging startups, social startup, top 2 incubation center, and top 2 mentors of JNK. So all these category, they will be given a certificate of registration and a cash prize of 50,000 for first position, 30,000 for second position, 15,000 for third position every year. Now the next very important thing is the gap year. So generally we see the students which are very brilliant and are having that thing of entrepreneur, in generally they had to drop out from the college to pursue that. But JNK government have introduced the concept of gap year. So the outstanding students who wish to pursue entrepreneurship can take a break of 1 year, mind it, it's 1 year, anytime after completing their first academic year to pursue entrepreneurship full time. And they will not be thrown out from their college. They can complete their graduation later in case there is a failure in their startup. So an approved scheme by the university and the college would allow the parents to be comfortable and confident. Then there will a status update, include a compulsory course on entrepreneurship development to inspire students. Next comes the infrastructure development. The first would be the co-working space. JKEDI will provide a co-working space to the startups with uninterrupted high internet speed. So the campus they are talked about in this policy are two. One is in Pampore and other is in Badi Brahmana. In future, I think there will be more centers. So they would be provided, the startups would be provided with co-working space, etc. Next comes the incubators and accelerators. So incubators which are targeting on disruptive idea which we talked at the very start, to build business model, and accelerators focusing on scaling up the business both play a catalyst role. So they are providing with the following incentives: capital grant up to 50% of eligible amount subject to maximum limit of 50%, financial support up to 10 lakhs per year to cover the operational expense for 2 years, and the recognized startups accepted for acceleration program of India shall be provided support of 50% of the acceleration fees, maximum of 50,000 per startup. And this would be available only to the 50 startups. First 50 next comes the market access. Without market access, startups are bound to be failed. So the JKEDI will provide the following support. They'll provide the assistance to the early market. Then there will be relaxation in the norms for startups for public procurement. In this, they will be encouraged to relax norms in public procurement processes for all the recognized startups. Next comes the travel assistance. So JKEDI would provide travel assistance to the startups, which is limited to a maximum of 1 international and 3 domestic visits, and the reimbursement incentive would be actual or 1 lakh for international travel and 25,000 for domestic travel, whichever is less. In this, they can approach global universities, accelerators, incubators, and investors for grant, funds, and acceleration program. Next comes networking and collaboration. So first, they will establish a start hub. Various basic facility would be provided. The premises is at Pampore in Kashmir and Badi Brahmana in Jammu as of now. I expect they'll open more. Then they'll conduct various networking events, exposure visits. Then there will be events by government departments. Then there will be startup investor meets. Then there will be a corporate connect. Then there will be startup events, which includes road shows, exhibitions, webinars, etc. Next, there will be innovation centers or tinkering lab. So, nurturing talent at school level is essential for the holistic development of the startup ecosystem. So, the nodal agency will assist departments to set up tinkering labs in school and government of India. So, next would come the implementation, review, and monitoring policy. So, the key performance indicators the government of Jammu and Kashmir will monitor is number of startups registered, startups funded, the jobs created, new startups incubated, mentorship hours, new partners on board, how many events were conducted, financial, self-sustainable startups. Then there will be a regular reporting. The government of India will create a dashboard which will be updated on regular basis to keep real-time track. Then there will be evaluation studies to assess the effectiveness and their impact. Then there will definitely be a feedback mechanism, the quarterly feedback mechanism, which will come from startups, mentors, incubators, and other stakeholders. Then the implementation part. So there will be a technical support unit TSU in JKEDI, which will orchestrate the networking activities and etc. The TSU shall provide the necessary support and assistance in appraising incentive cases with the VCFs and successful implementation. So the very thing talked about in this policy are the focus sectors. So the special attention would be given with disruptive in the following focus sectors: food and processing, agriculture, handicraft, education, healthcare, pharma, textile, apparel, fashion, technology, renewable energy, electronic system design, manufacturing, IT, tourism, environment protection, green technologies. So the nodal agency, as also talked earlier, is JKEDI. So basically, if you have any idea about a new idea and have a disruptive value addition in these focus sectors, J&K government is there to support you. You can approach JKEDI. If you have any queries, post it in the comment section. We'll definitely help you. Thank you.